Welcome to Titan Upload Live here on the tailgate party. Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans. 3:25 kickoff tomorrow. Better be here for the watch party and help us celebrate the division title. At least we hope. Anything can happen. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear your score predictions. Just get them up there. I'll put them up on the screen as they kind of come in. Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Big game tomorrow for the Titans. Now, there is some injury news, some good news, I guess you could say, for the Tennessee Titans going into this matchup versus Deshaun Watson. Fortunately, Deshaun Watson will be playing, and maybe he's got a lot to play for. Clemson Tigers took a bird bath last night, and the Buckeyes from Ohio State, the Ohio State University, put a whooping on them. And there's a lot of stuff coming out of Jacksonville. I'd love to hear your comments on that as well. The Jaguars look to be getting a new coach. Looks like Doug Marrone will be fired, and they will be possibly bringing in Urban Meyer. It's still, Urban Meyer has to agree to it, of course. But Lawrence, do they go Fields? I think everybody in their right mind would think they go Lawrence. I think there are some of us hoping they would go Fields, but enough Jaguars talk on Titans Tailgate. All right, this could be. I don't think it will be, but it could be the last time we talk here on a tailgate party before a game. And I don't know about you. You just got to count it day by day. Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow, and just focus in on the now. And the now is the Tennessee Titans getting ready to win a division title. Now, I think we can all put the rest, the Jaguars. Okay, the Jaguars are probably not going to beat the Colts tomorrow. Yes, they beat them in week 1. But they're starting Glennon. Come on, they're all in, and what I think the Jaguars are hoping for is to not only be the number 1 overall pick, but just if you remember when we tied, I'm not sure who it was, if it was Cleveland or somebody else, and we flip-flop in the second round. That's what the Jaguars are trying to avoid with the Jets. So with that being said, Jacksonville is all in on tanking, which is fine, whatever. So it looks like the Jaguars would get not only the number 1 pick in the first round, but also the second round. For the Titans, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got the game to talk about, of course. We got Isaiah Wilson back in the news. I mean, we hear him more in the news than production, what he's done on the field. I think there's been more breaking news stories on Isaiah Wilson than actual plays that he's played in a game. That's never a good situation. And then we got to move on and talk about the playoff scenario. Who do you want to see? We put a poll out earlier. We'll kind of get into that. We also put a poll out on Twitter. We'll kind of get to that thing live. I think we had over 200 and some people respond, which is awesome. And you guys were telling me, should we keep or not keep Isaiah Wilson? And then we got expectations. You know, I'm figuring we're going to the playoffs. I'm kind of penciling us in right now as a 4 seed. Could change. But can't go any higher, can go lower, can't go higher. But beyond that, a division title, what would that all mean to you guys? What are the expectations? I'd love to hear from you guys, so we'll get to that kind of in the show. We do have a giveaway to give away, if that makes sense, a giveaway to give away. But, you know, I can't let you guys just, tell you that now. Half of you would leave, so we'll put it on there at some point, but don't let me forget, because you guys know me. I like to forget a lot of things. So, tailgate, Titans, Texans. We'll put some score predictions. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Always fun. I don't know. I've been working on my son's helmet. So we do have the helmet here next to me. No, I'm not giving the helmet away. It would be a cool giveaway, let me tell you, maybe at some point. But it is a Tennessee Oiler helmet, believe it or not. Not a Houston Oiler one. Tennessee Oiler. We got Charlotte, the first one in here. So shout out to Charlotte. Gonzalez says, let's do this. RX Bell says, yeah. Michael says, tighten up to Michael. Thanks again for Michael and all the work that he does for Fan to Fan Network. So Michael, there's your shout out, but thank you for all that you do. You're an awesome writer. Keep it up. Mr. Titan in the house. Prayers to Mr. Titan. Mr. Titan left a note on Twitter recently kind of explaining what's going on in his family. So from the Titan Upload family to the Mr. Titan family, prayers, man. And just pray that everybody gets better. Pray that everybody's safe. And hopefully you'll be able to join the show. There is some big announcement coming on at some point, and we'll get to that. But hopefully Mr. Titan can be a part of that. But we'll talk more about that later. But prayers to Mr. Titan. Weez in the house. What's going on, Weez? Good to see you. Jeremy, we need to get it done tomorrow. R3, KT3E says, really hope to prevent from turning the ball over this time. Tannehill got strip sacked, and that changed the momentum last time. Then he threw a pick. He is coming off of 2-pick performance. Jared Stillman was pretty fired up on his show throughout the week. Stillman and company or whatever it is, because Floyd Reese left the show. But, I mean, Jared he doesn't seem like he's very all in on the Titans anymore, which is fine. Titans defense isn't really giving us a lot of hope at this point. I mean, are we going to be a one and done? Are we going to win a game and then lose the second round? I mean, I think it's all debatable, but he's like afraid of the Bills. We can get into that. Should we be afraid of the Bills? Is there stuff going on that we should be? But at this point in time, you know, we played the Bills coming off a game where, or coming off a week where we didn't practice at all. And it was at home, so this would be in Buffalo since they are going to probably be the 2 seed. But we'll get into the Bills later on. But I don't know if I'm as worried about the Bills as he is. I know the Bills are a good football team. I just was hoping that you guys may disagree, but the Ravens are a team I just don't want to face right now. And I'll get to why. I'll get to why later. I kind of brought it up on Weekly show, so shout out again to Tennessee Titans Weekly. Had a really good show. They brought all the YouTubers together. It was a lot of fun. It was just like we were talking for like 2 hours about the Titans, and we could have kept going on longer. So shout out to Weekly. They're doing great things. They got their own gig, I think, at Willie's or something like that, where they go in and do pregame, postgame. That's awesome. So in Nashville, they kind of set up. It's a really cool thing. So if you follow Tennessee Titans Weekly, you guys obviously know what I'm talking about. If you don't, got to get over there and subscribe to them. Do a really, really good job. All right, so let's see. Even if we lose, we'll be the wild card. Not necessarily. We could be the ones out of this thing. We'll kind of explain that in detail here soon. Devin says Isaiah Wilson's a bust. Spicy in the house. Tighten up. Let's win the division. Wilson gets one more chance to beat T. Hill. If he screws up again, then he's going to cut ties and save money. We'll explain if you actually would save money by getting rid of him. You might be surprised on that one. We will get to that as well. Spicy also says if he doesn't perform well in the first 8 games, then we need to cut him. SSJ Titan X wrote something on Reddit this week or something about Isaiah Wilson, or in the past week, or maybe even beyond that when we drafted him. So shout out to him. Valmania. Now we're resting if the Dolphins lose. Ooh, I don't think we would rest. BioGo says go early on the King. Get up and rest him. Spicy said this game is going to be a close one. I agree. Don't think it's going to be a game where we can rest people, unfortunately. Jahir's in the house. Hype. I love the icon there. That's awesome, man. It'll be a shootout. Jacob says, does Henry get 2K? That's a question. I kind of brought it to your attention. Do we get the 2K stimulus checks or 2K yards for Henry? Most of you went with 2K yards, and you might be right. You might have the best option if that's going to actually happen. Let's see. So 38-24. Damon in the house. What's going on? Tighten up. It was good to see you on the Tennessee Titans Weekly show for sure. Thanks again for joining. Titans aren't losing another one. What happened last week? Spicy says 38-35. Nate says Derrick's going to get 200 yards. That means he'd be like 30-some yards short, 32 yards. Colin says 28-17. I think the Titans are going to put up 40. Honestly, a little worried. I am too. I'll get to that why. Jacob says, I do think we'll win by at least 13. Waylon in the house says tighten up. SSJ says 34-17 Titans. Love the Oilers helmet. Thanks, Tiger 1000. Appreciate it. Beverly says Titans 42-24. Chef says I'm big Jags fan tomorrow. I would love to see them beat the Colts too. 38-24. Buckeye Nation 49-21 for Jahir's. Hunter says King Henry needs 223 for 2K. That is correct. Good call. Sun says 24-20. See, Derrick Henry has 1,777 yards. Go Colts. Let's go. Classic Ride Society in the house. As someone grew up an Oilers fan loving the helmet, thank you. B. Woodall says, is Minshew? No, he's not. It's Glennon. Solomon says, Titan upload. How you doing? I hope the Titans win tomorrow for my birthday. Nice. I hope they do too. So you're getting a round of applause because we're a little early, but you deserve some applause for your birthday. I hope you have a good one tomorrow. Hopefully the Titans win. 49ers should trade for Watson. I would feel so much better if the Dolphins lose. Me too. We'll get into that a little bit too. Let's see. Titan Upload, do you like MSG on your egg fried rice? I have no idea. I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. Is that mustard relish? B. Woodall says, I would prefer to play the Dolphins. Damon says, we got to keep Wilson. Kent in the house. Hopefully the defense will play well tomorrow. Chef says, get a rematch versus the Browns. It would be a tough game. Jahir says, we don't need Wilson, I'm assuming. Monica back in the house asking more about MSG. BioGo says, we get the division. Casey or Pitts. Chuck in the house. What's going on, Chuck? Josh from Nashville. Tighten up to you, man. Oiler Titan says, the worst thing that could have happened would be for us to win the division title and lose in the first round. B. Woodall says 34-17. Let's see. Keisha in the house. What's going on, Keisha? She says, let's get this win. FC in the house. We love the Titans. Michael says, tighten up. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all you guys as well. Jahir says, tighten up. Alex in the house says, tighten up, but not one and done in the playoffs. Let's see. Waylon says, let's get that tighten up. And let's see. Raven says, win is a huge for the playoff momentum. That's true. What happened last year for us. Jonathan Jones, I hope Watson doesn't pop off. Yeah, he could definitely do it, though. And I think that's what I think some of us are really kind of afraid of. I mean, we could go back to the first round we played him, which would have been week 6. And he went off 334 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And let's just be honest, he gets that 2-point conversion with like a minute left. Tannehill can't lead the troops down and get a touchdown to A.J. Brown and go to overtime. And who knows if they get the ball. But if, coulda, woulda, shoulda, Titans still ended up winning, so we got to go with it. All right, Damian says, gave up their season. Texans are really defeated. We'll see. I think they have a lot to play for. Lot to play for in this. Nate says, are scared of the Chiefs, honestly. Jose says, Derrick Henry will become 2,000-yard club. It'd be nice. I want that win first, but it would be nice. He deserves it. Titans Gear says, let's be AFC South champs. I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for I got this little thing that, like, for the baby reveal. Obviously we're having a girl. We're getting close. We're like a month away. But I have the blue one as well that we weren't able to light. So I'm going to use that for the Titans when they possibly win the division. I don't know if I should do it now or wait till we win the AFC Championship game. Who knows? We'll figure something out. All right, so let's kind of get into this, and then we'll get more into your comments and stuff like that. So thanks again for Al. Good to see you. This says, nice Oilers helmet. But thank you for just your comments. Your comments are always welcome. Your comments are always great. You guys always keep me in line. If there's a question or concern or something I can't figure out, you guys are always right there to help me along the way. So let's dive into this. So we got the stats. We can break them down a little bit. You guys know I love doing my stats, and there are some things that worry me about this game. Let's kind of focus in on the defensive report. We know our third down percentage and our sacks are awful. They're 32nd in the league for both. Our red zone defense is not very good either, but it actually went up. I think last week we were like 30th. Played the Packers. You think that number would go to 31, 32. It actually went up to 29th. So we actually are doing a little bit better in the red zone. We did stop Rodgers once. We blocked a field goal. And no, that was not offsides, but I don't want to get all fired up so soon. But when you look at these, the points per game, okay, what it is. There's a lot of stats that when I look at it, it's the turnover differential for the Titans. So if they get the turnovers, great. If they don't, that's when we're kind of in trouble. Didn't get that turn. Well, we did get a interception with Malcolm Butler last week, but it wasn't really enough. And we were already so far behind at that point, it didn't really matter. But you guys mentioned, the strip sack, Tannehill interception. Those are some things we're going to try to have to avoid against Watson because it's going to be on the road. And I know that with the fans and not having fans in the stands or limited fans, is it really going to be that big of a deal? But still, the Titans usually play pretty well on the road. Other than Cincinnati and the snow, we didn't fare too well either. Moving on. So that's kind of like we know the defense is bad. The Houston Texans defense is pretty bad too. Like 31st in rush, rush yards per attempt. Their third down percentage a little bit better than ours. Points per game is pretty high. 26th in the league, 25th in pass yards per completion. We're actually not doing too bad in pass yards per completion. I thought we'd be a lot worse, but we've kind of been hanging around the 13th to 16th range all season. But again, they're not getting the turnovers. So turnovers are very, very key, and I think you guys are we're going into a win and in situation, win the division. We can't turn the ball over. We've been very, very fortunate, but you know what? Watson's not bad either. I mean, 4,458 passing yards, 70% passer completion, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Ryan Tannehill, 3,600 yards, 65% completion, 32 touchdowns, so a little bit better there, but has 7 interceptions. Now he threw 2 last week. So let's kind of keep going onto the offense. Offense looks a little bit better for the Titans, but there is one thing that stands out for the Texans. That's pass yards per completion. They actually lead the league, and that's one thing where we're not very great against the pass. Now, again, I showed you we're 13th in pass yards per completion, so that tells me that teams are able to take advantage of us down the field as far as like Dinkin and Duncan, which is kind of our MO throughout the season. Just do enough to make the other side turn it over eventually. And we've been doing that for the most part. I think that's why we're 10-5. Our defense is awful. Can't sack the quarterback. Can't get any pressure. But we are getting turnovers. And I don't know how that is, but it is. Our leading tackler is Kevin Byard, 107 tackles. Their leading tackler is a middle linebacker, which we all are familiar with at Vanderbilt, Cunningham, which has 157 tackles. So my point there is your main tackle guy probably shouldn't be Byard. I mean, that tells me that you're giving up a lot of completions, and the teams are actually, I mean, you know, it's just difficult. You would think Evans would be in kind of towards the top, but he's just, to me, having a not so good season. But the Titans offensively are doing pretty good. There are reports today that have come out, and I mean, it's no shocker that maybe the Jets are looking into Arthur Smith. The Atlanta Falcons have asked Coach Malarkey about Arthur Smith. Do I think Arthur Smith is going to go to the Jets or the Falcons? No, I actually don't. Now, if the Titans would go on a run and win the Super Bowl, then fine. But I think when you look at the Tennessee Titans offense, you look at Derrick Henry, look at Ryan Tannehill. Arthur Smith has done a very good job, but as far as being a head coach, I just think he needs a few more years. But who knows? You know, no one really said that about LaFleur. And then all of a sudden, here come the Packers, and LaFleur might actually go to a Super Bowl this year. So, and then by the numbers, you know, again, the number that scares me the most with the Texans is their passing department. They're 4th in the league in passing. And then you look at our passing defense is 28th. If you flip it around, though, we have the second best rush attack, and they have the 31st. So something's got to give in this matchup. I think we will all bet on Derrick Henry. But again, you guys know this thing could come down to many different things. Special teams. You know, Gostkowski's out. Kern is back, so that's a good thing. We'll get into injuries here in a minute. Actually, just get into injuries now. Might as well. Where is injuries? I guess injuries didn't make the list, but don't worry. Titan Upload's got you covered here. Boom. Injuries. So we know Roberson's out. Kern is active, so that's going to be good. Blasting game is questionable. When you look on the other end of it, the Texans' Tunsil is out reportedly. And that's going to be huge for the Titans. And that's kind of like my, not breaking news, but that's my news as far as injuries that I think helps the Titans. Not having Tunsil, a left tackle, which, let's be honest, there are a lot of people around the league, including Madden, that think Tunsil's better than Lewan, which I still don't believe that is true. But Tunsil being out is definitely going to hurt them. And Watson's already coming in banged up with a hand injury and all those other things. So something to keep an eye on. But again, not having Roberson means we're going with Wyatt Ray again, right? He did have a sack, and he had a half a tackle, but it didn't count because you guys know, like, Rashaan Evans decided to hit the quarterback late or hit him in the head or whatever the case is for Rodgers. But the point I'm trying to make is the Tennessee Titans have a real problem at pass rush. They don't have enough bodies. They really have to do a good job in the offseason. And I'm saying draft. So I've reached out to Brian. It's not time yet, but Brian has agreed to come on the show, do a full 7-round mock for us Titan fans. Only Titans. So if you're a Houston Texans fan, fortunately you won't be talking about the Texans just yet. But he'll do a mock. He was right last year. He said Isaiah Wilson, which is a great segue to where we want to go. So let's go into Isaiah Wilson. All right. So Isaiah Wilson, we all know the story, okay? I'm not making any of this up. It all started kind of, you know, in the height of this situation going on with the sickness. TSU party kind of got busted, was attempting to jump off a balcony to escape. We got into that. Many of you, to my surprise, were, you're okay with it. You're like, yeah, he's a college guy and he's having a tough time adapting and everything going on. He'll figure it out. It's just kind of a bad vibe. There were reports or rumors that maybe even like Darrington Evans was there. Again, I said rumors. I'm not saying that's true at all. And we don't know. I mean, his agent came out and said it wasn't true. But regardless of the fact, this is on Wilson. Then he has the whole DUI situation where he's doing donuts, and then he gets busted. Then he gets suspended from the team, from team rules. Then the report came out he was in an accident. He kind of totaled his car. And then this weekend, Miami party. Now, hearing the reports, out of the 217 that voted, about 70% of you said, yes, get rid of him. Here's the problem with getting rid of him. All right? And I'm not trying to be mean, but here's the problem. If you get rid of him, he is going to cost you, this is according to Brian. So I had Brian do some research today, and he agreed, $10 million in dead cap space. What does that mean? That's money you're not getting back. That's the problem with drafting guys early. You better make sure they're good. You better make sure they're going to work. Washington, they had a quarterback situation. They drafted a quarterback, I think, top 5, right, with Haskins. He's out. Nobody claimed him. Nobody picked him up. Well, if you get it yourself in a situation with Wilson, my guess is they wait until next season to do anything, but it's going to cost the Titans. You know, you guys think that you're saving money. You're not saving anything. It actually costs you a pick. I would have argued to keep Conklin, cost you a pick, and then if he's going to cost $10 million in dead cap, that's just money that's going against your cap that you cannot clear. So that is a big issue. Should he stay? Should he go? I'd love to hear your feedback, your comments on this one. Thanks again for joining the show. If you're just kind of finding your way through, you haven't subscribed yet, love to have you on the channel. And don't forget to tighten up that like button, or if you're a Texans fan, I guess you could push the like button, which is cool too. But no, tighten up the like button if you get a chance. And yes, there will be a giveaway at some point. I know some of you are kind of hanging on for that, but it's a little early in the show. I can't just give it to you just yet. It's not a Clowney jersey, so it's nothing like huge like that. But we do have 120 of you in the house. We got 39 likes. It'd be nice to get at least 50, right? At least 50. All right. Damon says that was a great show. It was. It was a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun to talk Titans with guys that, I watch videos from, and, they cover the Titans. We all do it in our own special, unique way. But the bottom line is, we all bleed Titan blue, and I think that's what matters in the end. So those guys are awesome. The GOAT CJ says just win, baby. This can be Derrick Henry's best game. Classic Ride Societies doesn't feel we'll get very far in the playoffs. Chuck says just win. Damian says losing the punter's back, though. Punter is back, so bringing him back is very, very good. And R3, KT3 mentioned that. Your mom loves Ben, 32-17. Hunter says Monica's a bot. She usually talks Titans. I'm not sure what's going on today with the whatever that is. It's going to be a scary game, but I think we'll win 34-30. That's going to be a scary game. I said 34-32. I don't know about it. Like, I'm confident we're going to win, but I'll get into why in a little bit. And we can get into this a little bit more, but I'll get into why I'm a little bit nervous. It has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson either. Nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. Kern is back. We're good with Kern. Kern is back. He'll be playing in the playoff game as well when we get to the playoffs. Let's see. Just want to make this clear. Don't be surprised that Tannehill has a big day tomorrow. Everyone expects Henry to do well. It's a very good point. I think sometimes we kind of expect Derrick Henry just to get the ball every time. I know I do. If you watch the watch-along parties, I'm really upset when they bench Derrick Henry, or take him out of the game, I should say, when it's 3rd and 2. Because it just tells the defense you're going to throw it. And no offense to McNichols, but every time McNichols is in the game and a 3rd and 2, I can't remember the last time he took a handoff. It's been a while since I believe when they did give it to him on a 3rd and 2, he actually got the first down, but they just don't do that a lot. So at least leave Henry on the field. Besides, McNichols has been doing okay, I guess you could say, in pass department protection. But again, I would rather have Derrick Henry, if he's not getting the ball, and just pass blocking over McNichols. And this is another point. When is it time to put Darrington Evans as the full third down back? I mean, we're going to have to kind of have that discussion at some point because he's been doing really good on punt or kick returns. I'm actually quite surprised. He's been doing really, really well. And guys like Khalif Raymond, their days may be numbered. I mean, we'll see what happens with Raymond going forward, but if he don't make any kind of imprint on tomorrow's game or the playoffs, I'm not sure he's coming back. They just kind of seem to go away from him. I mean, Cam Batson's getting more reps than Raymond. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Coda in the house, what's going on? Trey Scott, we need to score at least 40 to beat them. Jeremy says you need to stream for the Dolphins game and the Ravens game. I don't know if my kids are going to let me do that, man. I mean, I'd love to, but I'll definitely keep you up. We'll be about 3:05, so we'll be kind of wrapping up. I'll have the score on there, and we'll figure everything out before we play, and we kind of know what's going on. So Jahir says, do you watch college football? I watched a little bit last night. The Ohio State running back, very impressed with him. Fields, I'm impressed with. Took a shot there. I didn't think that was targeting, though. That was a bad call. I mean, it was just an awkward position where he kind of was on the field and he took a shot to the back. But again, I don't think that, lost Clemson the game by any means. But, Dabo ran his mouth and he kind of got, I'll be honest with you, when you're looking at a situation going with the Titans, or not the Titans, with the Clemson, Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, it just seems every year. And now it's like Ohio State. And that's why I think this was the year to expand the playoffs. Expand it. I would have loved to see Coastal Carolina, Cincinnati in the primetime spot. Unfortunately, we get the 4. And it's kind of like the same 4 every year. I mean, Clemson loses to Notre Dame, then beats Notre Dame. Heck, both of them come in. Again, you won't know it until it happens. They always said a 16 couldn't be a 1 in the March Madness tournament, and it actually happened. And it's been pretty close a few times as well. But, yeah, I do watch. Illinois won today. I'm an Illini fan for basketball. Beat Purdue. Ladarius Smith says Henry 250 MVP. David says Vrabel's clock management won us the last time we played him. Very true. Misty in the house, hello. Euler Titan, Simmons Landry, Jackson Byard, Ray have to show up. Yes, there is a baby on the way. We did a whole baby reveal type thing. I don't know, maybe missed that part of the show. I was against the Texans, believe it or not. Week 6, we did the baby reveal. Oh, it was like being on pins and needles for that game. I tell you what. JBW says King Henry, I want to have him 2K. JJ's watch speeds made me want to root for the Texans. Made me want to jump through a window or something crazy. I mean, it was very good. I hope it doesn't matter too much. Matt Moon in the house. Always gracious to see Matt Moon in the house. What's going on, Matt Moon? I think Matt Moon was like the first ever person to give a super chat. Speaking of super chats, got a few super chats down here. We got a $15 one from Damon. He says, I think Derrick Henry is going to freaking go off tomorrow. 2,000. Let's go. Dude, thanks so much for the nice donation there for the channel. I really, really do appreciate it. You're definitely getting some applause there. But no, I again, just for you guys being on here commenting and being a part of this thing, it's always awesome. But when you guys actually go ahead and put your money there and you kind of invest in the channel, I do appreciate that. So thanks a lot, Damon. I appreciate that. And then we had one more down here real quick. We have Jeremy, a super chat as well. He says, the last time we won the division, 2008, I was in high school. We're getting it done tomorrow. Again, we'll give some applause to Jeremy. 2008. What a season that was. Starting the season 10-0. Remember, I've told you guys this before. Went to the Bears-Titans game with my dad. It was a lot of fun. We barely won, by the way. We almost lost that game. But it was after the game where, a Bear fan got I was walking with my dad. He had he's a Bear fan, by the way. So he had all his Bears gear on. And I had my Titan stuff on. It was cold. It was snowing. And I got a guy in my face who wants to fight. He wants to fight Titan Upload before he became Titan Upload. So, I did the thing. I just walked away. I'm with my dad. What do you want me to do? I probably would have got my butt kicked anyways. But that was a fun season. It ended terribly, though. We all remember how it ended against the, dare I say it, Ravens. Too many turnovers. It's just, we totally destroyed them in total yards. And then they had the play clock malfunction. Gamer Gigantic Films, what's going on? Tighten up to you. So, hey, thanks again, Jeremy, and thanks again to Damon for the Super Chats. Really appreciate it here on the channel. One Dull Geek says, Packer fan here from last week. Enjoyed your show so much to come back. Hey, thanks a lot. Good luck to you guys tomorrow. Speaking of the Bears, good luck against the Bears. It'd be nice if you could knock them out. I shouldn't say this, but maybe knock them out of the playoffs. Little revenge for Titan Upload there from 2008. But, yeah, I don't know. Should I have faith in the Cardinals at this point? They're going up against a backup quarterback in the Rams, but could the Rams be the ones out of it? It's going to be quite interesting playoffs tomorrow, but thanks a lot for coming around. Bald Bearded says, super nervous. I am too. Let's kind of get into this a little bit, like why we're super nervous, because like I said, it's one of those things. Let's just get right into it. So before we kind of dive into it a little bit more, let's get into the playoffs. So NFC, I know we do have some Packer fans in the house, and we do have some teams from other or fans from other teams. But when we look at this, again, the Cardinals are the ones out right now, but the Bears and Rams still have a chance to be out. What's fascinating is, I'm going to go on the screen because I want to actually look at you for this one. The Rams, according to NFL.com, have a better chance to win the Super Bowl than the Titans. So do the Ravens. It's frustrating, I know, but I think they gave us like a 5.7 chance to win the Super Bowl. The Colts got a 4.9 or something like that. But yeah, the Rams, who may not even be in the actual playoffs. I know the Titans may not be in there either, but they're going with the Rams and they're going with the Ravens over the Titans. See, here's the thing. The Ravens aren't going to win their division. That's going to be Pittsburgh. They already clinched it. The Titans at least have a chance to win the division, but again, we're all going to be playing week 1, so does it really matter at that point? Who knows? Speaking of which, so the Bears still alive. They play the Packers, which will be a good game. And then the Cardinals are playing the Rams. One of those guys are not making the playoffs. Then we move on to the AFC, which we're obviously probably a little bit more nervous about. The game to watch will be Miami taking on Buffalo at noon Eastern or Central Time, 1 Eastern Time. Buffalo looks like they're going to play their starters. The line went from 3.5 to 1. That news came out when Pittsburgh said that they weren't going to play Big Ben. They were going with the Rudolph because Christmas is over and Rudolph's got nothing to do, so we might as well throw him out there. But it looks like the Steelers are going to go a little bit more rest mode, kind of give up the number 2 seed, and just kind of play it out against the Browns. So the problem with the Browns is Browns also got guys out. That's going to be a very interesting game. The Browns could quite well lose to Rudolph and be out of the whole playoff as well. But remember what happened last time. Browns, Steelers, in Cleveland. Dare I say it, Cleveland was just about ready to win. Myles Garrett jumps, or I should say sacks, but didn't Rudolph get rid of the ball? So let's just say he hit him. And he was laying on him, and that's when the whole thing started. Now, I don't know what he said. I don't know what happened exactly. Why was Garrett even in the game? That was on Freddie Kitchens because the game was over. Like, you don't leave your stars out there at the end of a game, especially when it gets kind of heated. Now, I don't know too much about Garrett. We did ask Ken Moore. Ken Moore lives in Texas. Garrett went to Texas A&M. So I'm really not sure on him, but it looked like he had a really good bounce-back season, and he's very, very talented. But one of these teams are going to be out. The Colts win, they're in. Colts are probably, I shouldn't say they win, they're in. I mean, because if all those other teams win, they're out still. But I think the Colts will win, and I honestly think the Dolphins will lose to the Bills. I'm going to go ahead and say it, but I think the Dolphins will lose to the Bills. So what does that mean, Titan fans? It means who do you want? Who do you want? I believe full-heartedly the Tennessee Titans, this team right here, the Tennessee Titans, are going to get the Ravens. Titans will be 4. They'll win in Houston, be the 4 seed. Ravens will be the 5 because Miami will lose to Buffalo. Colts will get in. Browns will get in. I don't know who finishes what. I think the Colts will be 6. Maybe the Colts will be 7. Who knows? Maybe the Dolphins, I mean, they lose their kind of pretty much out of it anyways if the Colts win and the Browns win. But I'm just going to say on the record, I really think the Titans will play the Ravens. Now, that scares me. And I'm going to get to my point of why I'm scared tomorrow. Yes, we're the Tennessee Titans, and we have a really good offense. We have Derrick Henry. But Houston Texans, we know, have Deshaun Watson, which had a great game against us the first time he played us. Again, 324 or 334, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. Here's why I'm scared. David Johnson. David Johnson just came back recently. Last week against the Bengals, had a really good game. I thought 13 carries, well over 100 yards. That is a concern. And why is that a concern? If the Packer fan's still in the house, because Green Bay ran all over us. That's the thing nobody's talking about. Everybody wants to talk about the pass rush, and it's so deservedly so. Everybody wants to talk about how awful the pass coverage is, how we play 10 yards off the ball all the time, and they're all fair points. But the reason why we weren't able to get back in that game, the reason why that game slipped away, Aaron Jones, long run down the sidelines. Yes, he was out of bounds, but it was still a long run, and we could not stop Dylan. Ask Dickerson how he's doing today. I mean, he literally got ran over by Dylan. They made Dylan look like the bus, Jerome Bettis. It was awful. That was the thing I was worried about in the offseason. That was what I was worried about as we headed into training camp. And I said, go out and get a guy like Snacks. You pair him with Simmons. Simmons, if you haven't noticed, has kind of fallen off recently. It's not fair. It's not fair for the fact that, yes, he did come out and run his mouth a little bit and say he could not be stopped and nobody could block him one-on-one. But the real issue with Simmons is he's being overworked. He's being overplayed. You want to know why Landry has 4.5 sacks right now? It's not because Landry's fallen off. It's not because Landry's just not good enough. It's because Landry is literally a one-man show and he plays 95% of the snaps. I don't care who you are. If you're going to play 95% of the snaps, you're not going to come fourth quarter. You're not going to be able to give a whole lot. And you guys know as well as I do, who's on the field most of the time? The defense. The defense will let you get the ball at the 5-yard line and literally march all the way down the field on like 8, 9, 10, 11 play drives. Or I should say 8, 9 minute drives. We're talking 13, 14 play drives. That's my point. So why am I scared going into Houston? A lot of the attention's going to be on Watson, which it should be. But if Houston can run the football against the Titans, they keep our offense off the field. Our defense can't get off the field. And I feel like we're very vulnerable up front right now. Evans hasn't been playing well as a linebacker. We lost Jaylen Brown. Long played pretty well last week. Byard, I already mentioned, 107 total tackles right now. It leads the team in tackles, and it's not even close. Your secondary should not be leading in tackles. That means you're giving up way too many completions. And we don't have a pass rush. We can add that to the play 10 yards off the ball. Don't have a defensive coordinator. That's why I'm worried. So let's get to your comments. Are you guys worried? You're not worried? And like I said, we already got into Isaiah Wilson. We'll get into some of the expectations, who you want to play, how far you think this team's going to go. And we'll do the giveaway, and we'll wrap it up. And we'll be here for the party tomorrow, the watch-along party. Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans. I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Got 230 of you watching. We got 91 likes. Be a great time to kind of plug the channel. To reality, right? Back to reality. So let's get into your comments. EFIL says, I want to see the Packers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Reggie TV in the house. Wilson should go. No point in keeping him. Sonny in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Titans highlight says Pro Bowl is a joke. Popularity contest for sure. And like when we're getting into the stats, Watson making it over Tannehill. I think record should have something to do with that. I know it does in major awards. Again, I think that's going to have, like, who should get MVP? I personally think it should be Aaron Rodgers, but I think they're going to give it to Mahomes. But if you're going to argue it's Mahomes, you could say, well, his record's better than Rodgers. I mean, I guess you could say that, have a valid argument. I would say when you compare the Packers and the Chiefs, roster-wise, the Chiefs have a way more talented roster. And I know it's debatable because Adams and Jones are really, really good. But maybe it's not. Maybe the Chiefs don't have a better roster. I don't know. It just kind of it seemed how that when the season ended last year, it looked like Green Bay was just a little bit outmatched by the 49ers. They got blown out twice. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe the Packers do have a better roster. I don't know. But Mahomes just seems he's got the better tight end. He's got more speed. He's got a bunch of running backs. I mean, I guess so do the Packers. Packers lost their left tackle, unfortunately, in practice this week. That's awful. Defensive-wise, who's got the better defense? It might be, I mean, if you're looking at it right now, is that what the NFL wants? They want the Packers and the Chiefs for the Super Bowl? Some of you think that, and I can't really argue that. Titan Weeze, what's going on? Coming soon. Al says 42-24. I think the Texans are going to lose in Watts. They might. A lot of fans are, do you want him? I can ask you guys that question. Do you want J.J. Watt? Do you want the Titans to go after him if he becomes available? I would say yes, only if you can guarantee me we're going to draft a couple of young pass rushers. I don't want to kind of depend on an older guy who has had injury concerns and be in the same situation we're in like right now. I mean, we had Clowney. He was overused way too much himself. He gets hurt. We got rid of Casey. That's why I wanted Snacks Harrison, but guess who went and got him? The Packers did. They claimed him. If he's good enough to play on the Packers, I guess he's not good enough to play for the Titans for some reason. Jay Walsh is a nice guy. Jay Walsh says, you are fake news. Let's see, Titans for life. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Reggie TV, there's no point keeping Wilson. Taking up, again, great point, but the dead cap space is going to be the main concern of why and that's why, like a lot of these first rounders, it's so rare to see them get cut so early. Let's see, Life of Devontae says, you think if J.J. Watt leaves, we could sign him? It'd be nice, but again, I'm concerned about the injury concern. So as long as you can guarantee me we got some young guys ready to go with Landry, then I'm all for it. We definitely need more depth. Our depth was very underrated at this point. Put a lot into Beasley, put a lot into Clowney. Both guys are gone. Did you see that John Gruden came out this week and says he's really expecting a lot out of Beasley. So seems like a match made in heaven. Titans for life. He's gonna bust our team if make our team look bad. Titans torch. What's going on? Good to see you. He says they should have dropped him. Chef's in the house. They should do a rookie versus veteran game. Your dad was a Bears fan. How did you become a Titan? I was actually born in Houston. So, yeah, I was born in Houston. So, I am sticking with my roots. Oilers, they moved we moved to Illinois. It's like, here come the Oilers. They're going to follow me. Of course, they stopped in Tennessee, but then they became the Titans. Beavis in the house. What's going on, Beavis? Says upload. Titans have to show up next or tomorrow for sure, man. They do. Again, Packers fan. Alex says, I really want to see the NFC East 6-10 teams make the playoffs. Titan Tiger won't be there tomorrow, but every time I go to Houston, it never fails. Rowdy fans always want to fight. Caleb Rice in the house. Watson signed an extension. He's not going nowhere, according to Keisha. Caleb says, go Texans. Brandon, smash the like for Titans win tomorrow. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Spicy says, Tony, we're 2-1 in the situations of the past couple of years. We basically need to go off an offensive rampage tomorrow if we want a chance at the Super Bowl. Miami's best 19 in the house. Buffalo's tight end is out, as well as Cole Beasley. So maybe the Dolphins have a really good defense. I want to see the Dolphins over the Ravens, but and partly for the reason I've mentioned this before, I want to see the Ravens as a 7 seed. And here's why. Because I feel like the Ravens match up with the Bills very, very well. if you put the Ravens up against the Bills, let's say the Ravens win. They won last time they were in Buffalo last year. Then the Ravens go to Kansas City. And if there's one interesting thing about the Chiefs, they haven't looked great, I know, but Ohio State didn't look very good either throughout the year. And then they went and showed up against Clemson and pretty much dominated them. But when you look at Kansas City, what's their one issue that they always have to answer for? And they've been better at it, but they always have to answer. Getting exploited in the run department. We've seen Derrick Henry go off on them. If the Ravens, which have a really, I think the Ravens might lead the league in rushing. If the Ravens can go in there and run the ball all over Kansas City, the Ravens defense should be able to hold their own. I'm not saying they're going to just totally wipe out the Chiefs. I'm just saying the Ravens would have a very good chance in my eyes to go in there and win. That's the thing. Can we go into Kansas City and win? We'll get to the expectations here in a minute, but that's a question. If the Ravens can just do it for us, then we'd have to beat Miami, and then we'd either have to beat Pittsburgh or Indianapolis or Cleveland. I would argue that you would agree with me that out of those teams, Buffalo, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Browns, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Titans, out of those teams could definitely beat the Dolphins, I think we can beat the Browns, could beat the Steelers again in a rematch, and we've already beat the Colts. We could beat them again. I'm just telling you. Then you wouldn't have to worry about Kansas City. Just saying. But if we play the Ravens in round one, they're the media's pick. They're the hot team of the month. I'm just saying, we've beat them twice. We match up well against them, but you never know. You never know. And if we can't stop the run like I was a little bit worried about before, the Ravens can come in and make it a very long day for us. Calvin says, let's go Titans. Steelers resting because they had their bye week in week 4, and it would have been nice. I really thought we could have rested this week, but unfortunately lost to the Packers. Otherwise, we could have rested today or tomorrow. Z's Jr. 1985 says, Steelers want the Browns to take us out in the playoffs, so let them win tomorrow. Titans for Lisa, how many times do we have to beat the Ravens? No kidding. Tennessee Titans logic in the house. What's going on, you guys? Good to see you. Owen says Jim Harbaugh got extended today. I'm not buying it. So he got extended today, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's staying, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm talking to my source this week, and then I'll let you guys know what I hear. Alex, doesn't matter who we face, one and done. Don't want the Ravens, assuming the Bills starters start tomorrow and pull them last minute. They could start them, or they could be like Jacksonville when they played us a few years ago and be like, hey, let's play our starters anyways, and then we beat them. M. Collector says, I want the Dolphins or the Browns. I don't want to play the Ravens again. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's definitely true. Hunter says, the only team I rooted for, the Ravens, was when they played the Browns after they beat us. I'm afraid to get the Ravens. Kyle says, go Titans. Henry 250, however unlikely. If you're winning, if you're winning, you run. If you're winning, you limit Henry's carries, and that's true. Michael says, that's okay. We just get embarrass the Ravens again at home. Ravens will definitely bring it. We're dangerous in the playoffs. It's a good point by Devontae. Borgia says, everyone has a good game against us. The great games. Darren says, let's not forget we barely won against the Titans. We should have lost. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but we really should have. I mean, if he gets the 2-point conversion, the game's over. They go up by 2 scores with a minute left. We're not winning that game. It took us to pull a rabbit out of a hat, literally. And I know we're a few months away from Easter, but it literally took them a rabbit out of their hat. Not only with Tannehill to throw to A.J. Brown in the quarter of the end zone, which got reviewed, by the way, and it could have went either way. I thought he was in. It was ruled he was in, but it could have went either way. And then we got the ball first and then literally ran the ball down their throat, and Derrick Henry took the wildcat formation and ran it in 5 yards on a 3rd and 5. The Texans do have 2 linemen out, but anytime linemen come into play, I kind of just chuckle because of the fact when we played Cincinnati had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had all 5 starting offensive linemen out. How many sacks did the Titans get? 0. So, I know. It pains me to even say it. We have Desmond King this time. That's true. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm going to put a lot into of the Packers game on the snow and the refs. Inner Sloth says, I'm not worried about this game. Titans are a better team. Our edge rushers can't set an edge in the run department. That's why the one guy who could set the edge was Correa, but Correa got mad because he saw Beasley playing in front of him, and how could we blame Correa? And now we don't have Correa on the team either. Snacks was just picked up. Yep, he got claimed by the Packers. Will Fuller is Fuller injured? Yes, Will Fuller is out, and he tore us up on the first time we played him. But Cooks could do the same thing. I'll be cheering for the Dolphins tomorrow. No, I want the Dolphins too. Okay. Will Fuller is suspended. Aiden says Will Fuller suspended, so you guys are getting to that right now. Gonzalez, I'm excited. Shine says David Long Jr. is a stud. He had a really good performance. I agree with you. Darren says, I do think people have overreacted a bit with the New Year's thing on Wilson. And Travis says, man, we just need to keep a spy in the middle of the field. Don't let Watson manipulate our defense. Hit those like buttons. Thank you. I appreciate it. King Duck Cat, what's going on? A Vikings fan, but I'll be rooting for the Titans in the playoffs. Man, we had a very good game against you in week 3. That game could have went either way as well. You guys tore us up in the run and the pass. I don't know how we won that game, realistically. Our pass protection in the Packers game has me concerned. And not a lot of people are talking about that either. It's been I know we had the ants of, during the watch-along party, we had the aunt of Quessenberry on the show. Like, not on the show, but she was in the comments, just like you guys are commenting right now. Seemed like a very nice person. And she was talking about, like, how, he has a brother that plays for the Chargers as well. And it's not on him. He's the third tackle. He's been put in a difficult spot. He's kind of got to step up and play like Taylor Lewan. And let's be honest, he's the third tackle for a reason. He started off really well, but now, like, lately it's been getting a lot of pressure. And it's not just him. Not just blaming him for any means. So it's something definitely to keep an eye on. Tannehill's been taking a few shots here or there. Luckily for us, like, when you look at the stat department here, let me kind of put this on the screen. But when you look at the offense, like, we're still in sacks. We're 8th in the league. So we're a top 10 team with sacks giving up as far. So we're doing a really good job in pass protection in the sack department. But Tannehill has been facing a lot of pressure, which cost an interception, and it probably can cost a lot more as well. Let's see. The Carver family says, good argument both ways. If you either take the QB away, they wouldn't be as good. And let's see. Keep going here. How many yards does Henry need? I think they said, 232 or something like that for 2K. I don't think he gets it, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, Corey Curtis this week was on Jared and Co., but Corey made a good point. It's like he could see Derrick Henry the 150 at halftime, but what's the score look like? If we're up by 21 points, it becomes a blowout, Henry's not going to play. But on the other end of it, I could also see the Texans playing one heck of a game on defense, trying to ruin our season. There's a difference between playing the Bengals, which was a week ago, and playing the Titans. Look what they did with the Colts. Played the Colts twice. Played the Colts, then played somebody else, and played the Colts again. Lost both games because they fumbled the ball on the 2-yard line roughly in both scenarios, and they lost. They could have won both of those games. We could be division champs already. The Texans, I feel like, will come ready to play tomorrow. And if you don't think they are, just go back and watch those Colts games. I know they got a couple linemen out. Think they might have a cornerback out. Somebody also mentioned maybe even the safety. They're going to come fired up for tomorrow. And it's home. It's a home game. And a lot of people aren't bringing this up either. Okay? Yes, we're a 7.5 favorite. But the thing is this. Romeo Crennel, this is probably his last game. He's going to have fun. J.J. Watt, Deshaun Watson. There's a reason why Watson's playing. He's putting up stats. He just broke Schwab's record last week for having the most touchdowns or whatever in a season for the Texans. But he's on pace. He's at 32 touchdowns. He's just going to keep playing. I mean, this is when it's fun. No expectations. Not expected to go out there and win. Just go out there and have fun. That's the teams that are dangerous, and that's exactly what we're getting tomorrow, where we have all the pressure. Now, us going into this game with the Dolphins losing, if the Dolphins lose that's why it's so huge that game's first. That will take a little bit of the edge off. Yes, we still want the division. You could make a valid argument. I know you don't want to hear this, but you can make a valid argument that if you have to play the Ravens in round 1, would you rather play the Ravens in round 1, or would you rather go to Pittsburgh, play the Steelers? Now, if you play the Steelers as a 6 seed, and maybe you get the 7 and you play Buffalo, I think both those games are winnable. We already beat Buffalo once. But then you're automatically going to Kansas City. But the argument this week has been Chiefs are resting their starters this week. Okay? And they're not playing next week. They get the bye. When's the time to strike the Chiefs? It's round 2. Look what the Texans did to them last year. They put up 24. But they're up like 24-0 in that game. I'm just saying, maybe not the best approach. You always want a home game. You always want to win the division. But if the Dolphins lose, and we kind of toot one away, so to speak, against the Texans, and we still get in, there's still a path for us to do some damage in the playoffs. Just going to point that out there. So let's get into this. We got, how much time we got? And then definitely get into some more of your comments. 276 in here. Don't forget to tighten up that like button. Again, watch along party tomorrow. We do have a giveaway. I know some of you are here. We'll get to that in just a short amount of time. And I also have a big announcement for Tuesday night at roughly 8:30. We're rewinding it. We're playing it back. We're getting everybody in here. We're getting Tennessee Titans Weekly in here. Hopefully we get Mr. Titan, NGB Talk. Two-Tone Zone's coming. Titans and Truth will be here. Possibly the Coach Plays. We're going to rerun it with and bring it down. Playoff edition, just like we did last year. Should be a lot of fun. There are some people that can't make it, unfortunately, and still shout out to them for getting back to me. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And how could I forget Ken Moore? Ken Moore has already agreed to come on. So this should be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to talk Titans with all those guys. We did it last week on Weekly Show. Looks like we're going to do it here. And, again, we did it last year. It was a lot of fun. Right before the Patriots game. We're going to do it again. And hopefully, like I said, you guys can join us. 8:30, that show will start. And that might be a long show if we're having a good time like we were on Weekly's channel just a week ago or earlier this week. A lot of fun. I think it was on Wednesday night. So I'm going to give you a little bit there. Are we re-signing Clowney? I think if the price is right, I think he's going to expect more. So he'll probably try to take it. But I would tell Clowney this straight up. Either sign or we're moving on. Like, there's no time. We're not waiting for a week after training camp. We're not waiting a week before training camp this time. We want you to go through the developments. You haven't been healthy in the last couple of years. You haven't really been healthy in your career. But you did this to Seattle last year. You did it to us in Tennessee this year. You gotta get in the program, man. You got to be a part of this from the start. We're not waiting. Hot take, Tennessee's missing the playoffs. May serve you a wake-up call for the offseason instead of making the defensive issues. And Keith's got a great point. I kind of talked to Mr. Titan about this yesterday a little bit. And, I was talking to him on the phone, checking up to see how he's doing and just checking in to see how things were going. And because he always, calls me and checks up on my family, how we're doing and stuff. He's just a great guy. Love Mr. Titan. But I made a point too, like, if we lose and we don't make the playoffs, will we finally learn some of these lessons, these mistakes, like defensive coordinator? Now, I'm not willing to risk a playoff run because I think this team can get hot. But my worry is we squeak some out, we get into the second round, or maybe we even make to the AFC Championship game, but we don't fix some of the issues. We know what the issues are. I'm pretty sure J-Rob knows. We know Vrabel knows. But the pass rush and the lack of depth, I'm sorry, is very concerning. And then you go and look. I understand. Darrington Evans, Christian Fulton, these guys got hurt in training camp, really kind of took away their season. Let's just be honest. Let's call it for what it is. Same thing kind of happened with Corey Davis his rookie year. These guys come back, then they hurt the hamstring again, and it just kind of keeps, it's a trickle effect. It just keeps going on and on. But when you look at the draft picks, I'm going to argue that our best draft pick is a guy we didn't draft. It's Teair Tart. I'm going to argue that. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't agree with him stepping on a guy, but besides that, he's been very productive. He's been getting an opportunity. He's still on the team. He's kind of done pretty well on the defensive line. I think he should play more. I think you could put him next to Simmons. Daquan Jones. I know Dickerson plays a little bit, but where's Murchison been? See my point on that one? Chris Jackson probably played the most out of the drafted guys, but, he's kind of fallen off. Maybe he can be a depth piece. But when you look at the draft picks, Christian Fulton just hasn't been out there. Is he going to play this week? We're hoping he plays. And then Darrington Evans. He could be a player as well. He's just hasn't really produced. So when you look at what happened this year with the draft, you drafted a quarterback from Hawaii, McDonald, and you gave him literally 4 practices, and then you were done with him. Ryan Tannehill's probably your best pick, right, for the 4th rounder we traded for. But it's just the draft has been concerning. You guys said Brooks Reed. Does Vrabel draft his own son? Oh, my goodness. Corey needs to be re-signed. I just don't think it's going to happen. I've been on the record for saying that. I'd love to see him. He's my favorite player. You all know me. Titan Upload loves himself some Corey Davis. Met him. Just an awesome dude. Met his family. But the issue with Corey Davis is, does he want to go home? He had a kid. So shout out to Corey Davis. And does he want to be more towards his family? I know Nashville is probably like 9 hours from Chicago, but if he can get a job with the Packers, he can get a job with the Bears. I think he really could have a chance to be with the Bears. So we'll see what happens with that. But dare I say the Colts? Ugh, I'd hate to see him on the Colts. Mike says Ravens aren't hot. Well, I get it, but they're winning games. And since they've played that game on Monday Night Football versus the Browns, that's what people remember. I know it's just the rushing attack. That's the thing that's concerning me. If we can stop the run, we were doing a good job of it. But if we can't, it's going to be hard to beat the Ravens. I understand with the pass department. That's why we somewhat have an edge on them, because Lamar doesn't typically throw it all over the yard when he plays us. But he still is a decent tight end. He does have some burners on the outside, but if they can rush the ball, it's going to make the Titans play a totally different defense. Pingo thinks the defense, or definitely thinks the Finns are going to lose tomorrow. Keisha said the sickness isn't fake. Wish it were, but I wouldn't see patients die from it. So again, shout out to Keisha, because she is a nurse and she does face this thing head on. So we definitely salute you here on Titan Upload, and just thank you and appreciate all you've done and being a frontline worker. But yeah, it's scary stuff, It's scary stuff. And when Isaiah Wilson, it's just like with your job. Like if your job told you to stay home and they didn't want you at work, you should kind of get the hint that your job's telling you to stay home. And they would rather pay you to stay at home than have you come back to work, right? That's red flag number 1. But number 2 is yes, it's not a paid vacation. It's not like the Titans just say, hey, go home, and you know what? You don't have to work anymore. You're just on vacation. Have a blast. It's not like that. So if work told me to stay at home, unfortunately, I can't go out partying it up and be posting videos when my work tells me to go home. You know what I'm saying? So I know he's young. I just wish, or at least I hope, that somebody can get through to him. Hopefully a player like a Lawan, Saffold, Ben Jones, and just say, dude, you got to figure this thing out. You are wasting, seeing his former college Georgia play just the yesterday or whatever, and they kicked the field goal to win the game against Cincinnati. He used to be a part of that down in Georgia, And he's very productive. I mean, he wouldn't have been drafted in the first round if J-Rob thought he was just going to be a total waste. But unfortunately, we're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place because if you cut him, again, it's like a $10 million cap hit. It's very hard. Ask the Rams about that. Rams are going to be in trouble here coming forward because they got so much dead cap. Let's see what you guys are getting into a little discussion. Christian, tighten up. If we can get a 27-10 lead in the fourth quarter, could you think about sitting Tannehill and let Henry push for 2,000? As a Titans fan, no, I don't want to see that. I mean, I want to see the 27-10 lead, but I don't want to see pushing Derrick Henry. But as a Derrick Henry fan and a guy who deserves it, yes. But they did it last year. You guys remember last year, Derrick Henry came in with a hamstring injury, missed the week before against the Saints. And they went out and they wanted to get him the rushing title, and Vrabel was all in on it. And I was like, no. But it ended up actually working out for the Titans because it pushed them into New England, started playing well. Then they went in the next week against the Ravens, played well there. And sooner or later, the Tennessee Titans, which a lot of national media didn't want to see them there, unfortunately. But we didn't care. We were the AFC Championship game. Let's see. McAllen Bell says KC put a rabbit every 3 games. Pulls a rabbit every 3 games. Hot take, Tennessee's missed the playoff. Okay, we already got to that one. If Titans can get their D up, we have a chance to win the conference. It's true. I would agree with that. Dat boy Rocky, our defense needs to be fixed. We will be here all the offseason to try to fix this thing and what we could do. Fulcrum says if the Titans blow them out, did last year, Titans are going another deep playoff run. So you guys are bringing that up. Let's just kind of put Jonah in the house. Only if we get Javon Curse. I wish we could. And where we're going to be drafting, if we don't make the playoffs, we'll be drafting 18. If we make the playoffs, I mean, we could be anywhere between, if we win the division, we'll be drafting obviously a little bit higher, but we'll probably be in the 20s. It'd be hard to get a legitimate Javon Curse pass rusher in the late 20s, but I think if you take a couple of these guys in the first and second round, maybe one of them, and we need the depth. We really do. So let's get into expectations. So Tennessee Titans, how far can this team go? We'll spend just a little bit of time before we get off the air here. Thanks again for joining us. We're an hour and 8 minutes in. It's been a fun show. I mean, we talked about the playoff push, what we need to happen to get in, we got a big game to look forward to in Miami and Buffalo at noon tomorrow, Central Time. And then the Titans, we do have a giveaway to give away at some point today. I'll share how you can do that. We talked briefly about just the stats. We looked at offense, defense, just kind of compared some certain things. It kind of shared my own expectations as far as why I'm afraid of this game a little bit. A little concerned, I should say, maybe not so much afraid. But let's get into some of your comments as far as how far can this team go. I really think the Titans will be a 4 seed. I think they win the division tomorrow, which is awesome. And then after they win the division, I think they get a matchup versus the Ravens. So let's just put it for what it is. Let's just go with Titan Upload's theory, and let's play it out. So what I'm predicting, Chiefs are the 1. So KC will be the 1. Number 2 is going to be the Bills. 3 is Pittsburgh. 4 will be the Titans. 5 will be the Ravens. 6 will be the Colts. And let's just go 7. Man. Let's just say the Browns are out. No, because I don't think the Browns will lose tomorrow against the backups of Pittsburgh. So that would mean the Colts would be 7. Browns, since they won the tiebreak, I believe the Browns would be 6. Maybe I messed that. If I messed that up, you guys can help me out. So with that scenario, Buffalo ends up playing the Colts. Pittsburgh gets, I messed that up. The Browns, again in a rematch. That'll be fun. Titans get the Ravens. So that would mean the Dolphins are out, even though I think the Dolphins deserve to be in here just as much as anybody. Again, Fitzpatrick is on the list. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to play. So they're going all in with Tua tomorrow, and they got to go win at Buffalo. I think Buffalo wants to clinch that 2 seed. I think the Bills win. So with that scenario, Pittsburgh versus the Browns, This is interesting. I think momentum's a big thing. I'm going to go with Cleveland in that game. I don't know why. Bills versus the Colts. See, I think the Colts got a sneaky good defense. We all would agree with that. But I just think the Bills are too much offensively. And with it being at Buffalo, I'll go with the Bills. So that leaves Titans and Ravens. Titans and Ravens. And with that scenario, the Titans would not have to play Kansas City in the second round. So the Titans would get the Bills. So can the Titans beat the Ravens? That's, I guess, what I'm asking you here on Titan Upload. So we're looking at how far this team can go. Can they get it done? I mean, they've beat them twice. Can they beat them twice in a season and 3 times in a row and literally a year difference? We can talk about Corey Davis. Really, really close to, I think he has 945 yards, so he's super 55 yards roughly away from 1,000. A.J. Brown, 924. So he's like 76 away from 1,000. I think both of those can happen. And you guys have mentioned like Ryan Tannehill could go off. Damon says he needs 223. I said 232, so my apologies. But yeah, 223. I mean, it's a possibility. I just don't think it's going to get there. Let's see. I want a good offense and defensive showing. That's it. That's a good point. And special teams. Bills going to win it all. Thank you for the comment. I think the Bills are playing really, really well. I like the Bills. I think they're a very, very, very good team. Not sure how they match up with the Chiefs and Kansas City, but, I mean, Josh Allen, can't take anything away from him. He's playing really, really good. Let's see. My name is Harris from Los Angeles. Big fan of your content. Always support when I can. Can't wait to see the Titans and Ravens. Let's go. Hey, man, thanks a lot. Appreciate the nice comment here on Titan Upload. Shout out to you and tighten up, and I hope you're ready. I hope we are going to get a chance to make the playoffs, which I think we will. Not sure I want to see the Ravens at this point, but who knows. Get Sports Fan Entertainment on the show. We did reach out to him, and he got back to me. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it, but maybe something in the future. He's an awesome guy, and definitely a shout-out to him. He was on Tom's show from the Packers last week? Did a good job on there breaking down the Titans. But, yeah, unfortunately, we did reach out to him, but he's not going to be able to make it, which is fine. Everybody's got their own thing going on, and it wasn't a big notice. I mean, I only had, literally sent out the emails yesterday, so, but maybe down in the future. But definitely shout out to Sports Fan Entertainment. MJ does a really good job. So what do we got here? You guys can help me out. NGB Talk in the house. We got to find out if he's joining us. Did he check his email yesterday? Hopefully he did. NGB Talk's back in. If you haven't heard, NGB Talk is back. He's produced 2 shows that I know of. And, yeah, he's got a new place, it looks like. I mean, he always does a really, really good job. So shout out to NGB Talk. And you got some fans in here, man. Big O Titan in the house. What's going on? Good to see him. Jonathan says, need to clear cap space this offseason to be able to sign anyone. Who would make sense to cut? We're going to do something with that in the offseason. I don't really want to hit that just yet, but you're right. I mean, the Titans, if they're going to make a difference on defense, we are going to have a little bit of cap room. But we'll have to see what happens with this. Let's see. I hope the Dolphins first round if they don't blow it tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. Do you want the Dolphins to lose or do you want them to win? Because if they lose, you know you're in the playoffs. But if they win, you end up blowing it against the Texans, you're out. Unless some of these other teams lose like the Colts. So they're not losing to the Jaguars. Let's see. Titan Wheeze, is that the new channel name? That's awesome. So if you guys joined us last week for the Tailgate Show, Wheeze and Mario were on, and they said they were going to start their own channel. They broke that on this channel, which is awesome. So is that the new name? Titan Wheeze? That's awesome. I like it. See, Damian, do we fix the kicking, pass rush secondary, D-line in the offseason? I mean, trust me, I want to get into this probably more than you guys do. because I live for this stuff. So when the season's over, it doesn't end for Titan Upload. I mean, yeah, I've been flirting around with possibly doing some stuff with the White Sox this season for baseball, just to, do some other stuff. But Titans got a lot of questions. They got a lot of stuff to do in the offseason. I've already mentioned this. I would love for them to go very heavily defensively in the draft. Draft pass rusher in round 1, round 2, round 3, whatever you got to do. I know it makes sense. You take the best available sometimes. But, when we have Brian on the show, we're going to get a list of pass rushers that are going to be possible where we're drafted. And then I brought this kind of up in Weekly Show 2 this week is, the Kansas City Chiefs were a quarterback away, and they already had Alex Smith. They traded up to 12 to grab it, or 10 or whatever. The Tennessee Titans, maybe you're a pass rusher away. I'm going to argue a little bit more than that because you need multiple pass rushers. You just can't have 2. You know what I mean? You have to have a couple now. More, at least 3, I would think. You need some depth pieces. But you need a really good pass rusher. You need an elite pass rusher. Could you possibly trade up to 10 and get one if they fall? It depends on where you're drafting from. Falcons did it with Julio Jones. Did get the Falcons to a Super Bowl that they should have won, and they blew it. But they traded all the way up to 5 to get Julio. And that's also a name I keep hearing about. The Titans go out and get a Julio Jones. Again, if you can trade up and make it happen, you need so much depth right now. You literally got depleted over the offseason because you weren't able to re-sign guys like Tajay Sharp, which you still could have, but now he's on the Chiefs apparently. You also have a situation where you could have signed LaShawn Sims. He's now playing for the Bengals. He was a decent corner. He'd probably be like a 4 or a 5. You let him go. You let Logan Ryan go. You traded Casey away. Woodyard retired, or he didn't retire. You let him go. We'll just see what happens. Super chat time. Nice. Titans Wheeze says, coming soon. Thank you, Upload. Probably drop a video this weekend. Stay tuned. Tighten up that like button. Salute. Thanks again, man. You didn't have to donate to the channel. Pretty soon we'll be donating to your channel, but congratulations. I'll tell you straight up, Wheeze and Mario, when we did that first one, which is more of a private thing, we did it for the Flick Chat group, and it was just us Flick Chat members, and then somehow it went public, but it's okay. It was a really fun show. I thought you guys really did a great job. And then you guys were on, I think the last time, we had I thought we had close to 600 last week on the tailgate, and you guys didn't intimidate you guys at all. You guys were able to hang right in there. And you guys did a really, really good job. So shout out to you guys. I'll definitely tune in and be enjoying that content. I made a video on this, and it did really well. There were a lot of comments, over 250 comments. And most of you agreed, why not? But at this point, it doesn't seem like any of that's going to happen. You could have had Snacks. You didn't even put a claim in for him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you didn't want Snacks. Who knows? Ryan says, yes, the Titans have a great offense. Can you trust their defense, though? And that's the concern. Bills are dumb for trading away Mahomes. Now, they love Josh Allen. I mean, Alex, I know it's kind of crazy to think this, but they really love Josh Allen. And he's made so much growth from last year to this year. It's really, truly remarkable. They've really done a lot with his footwork, a lot with his structure, how he stands in the pocket. I know it didn't show a whole lot when we played him, but I'm telling you, the Bills fans love themselves Josh Allen, and who could blame him? He's playing really, really well. Chuck says we got to keep Butler, King, and Borders. Borders is a name we forgot about because he is on the IR, but he's played pretty well too, other than he kind of fallen off a little bit there before, but maybe that was because he's hurt. Lionel, love the show. Keep up the work. Hey, I appreciate it, Lionel. Thank you. And good luck to the Packers. Like I said, I think you're going to beat the Bears this week. I mean, I do. And I think everything's going to run through Green Bay. I would not be shocked. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing MVP season. I've said it. I've made a video on it. I've put myself out there on it. I think he should get it over Mahomes. And it's not that I don't like Mahomes. Mahomes is a great guy. I just think Rodgers is having an electric season. Adams is playing really well. I think he has like 17 touchdowns. He's got more touchdowns than Derrick Henry, believe it or not. But the Packers defense, Smith, I think, has like 15 and a half sacks. I mean, he's got more sacks than the entire Titans defense. The Titans defense has 15 sacks total. You know how many Texans got? 32. So they over 50, or let's say over 100% of Titan sacks. That's just, it's not acceptable. And I just feel like the media, what are they going to do? But it's just like Vrabel. They got to know it's a problem. And it's like you got all these practice squad players, and some of them are protected. But you couldn't have took a chance on any of these guys throughout the year. I mean, you just keep throwing the same guys out there, and depth is an issue. Let's see. You guys mentioned Logan Ryan, Steven in the house. Could we sign Clay Matthews? You know, the scary thing is I think it's just too late. I really do. I think it's too late because he hasn't played all season. I mean, you're literally waiting to. It'd be different if he had a bye week, but I just think they're running out of time. Yep, he would have to quarantine. If the Titans made a sandwich, what would it be called? I don't know. A Nashvilleian. I don't know. Let's see. Tighten up. I make McVids. This dude, last time I checked, 59,000 subscribers, but close to 60. My son started a Twitch account called Fortnite Upload, and I Make McVids was like right on there. Like, you know, he liked it, or not liked it, but he started following him. He left some really cool comments, and my son really, really loved that. And I don't think he knew who exactly he was at the time until I showed him, but he was like, oh my gosh. So, hey, you made his day, so thanks so much. I appreciate it. Glad it's later today because I'm going to stay up and record tonight. Hey, have fun. I know how long that takes and can take. No, for me personally, sometimes on a video that's literally 10 minutes long or 8 minutes long, it could take me close to 7 hours. And I don't know why it does. Maybe I try to be a perfectionist. It's not like the filming takes so long. It's just like the editing and getting all that stuff. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I love y'all and I love the Titans, so I'm willing to do it. Let's see. Jackson is a defensive coordinator. Dory Jackson, you know, he's going to take some time, guys. He hasn't played since last year, and he just came back 2 weeks ago. And then last week, we got lucky because he played in the snow, and he survived it. I don't know how he did. Just to let anyone know, the Chiefs are $16 million over the cap and books next year. We'll see what happens. Jonathan, great point. I still think the Titans' window is going to be for Derrick Henry's contract, which would mean we still have 3 more years. But they got to fix the defense. You know, they got to fix the defense. And if they can, Pittsburgh's going to be without a quarterback. Even the Colts. The Colts might have like $100 million in cap space next year. But they don't have an exact quarterback that's just going to fall in their lap yet. Like, yes, they could go out and get Stafford and make some sort of trade. Yes, Carson Wentz could fall in their lap, supposedly, if you guys believe in Carson Wentz. But they're not going to draft a top-tier quarterback. I mean, they would have to really trade a lot to move up to get one. And apparently Andrew Luck's not coming back, so that's been squashed. I think the Colts, Rivers, I don't think he comes back next year either. I think the Colts, the one issue they're going to have is, yes, they got a lot of money. They can bring in a lot of guys to help that defense out, but who's going to play quarterback for them? You know, do they go and make a trade with the Jets? You know, those are some things. I'm not really scared of Darnold, but I'm telling you what, if Matthew Stafford goes there, which I'm kind of afraid of, I don't want to see that happen. Hey, Coach Plays here as well. What's going on, man? Coach Plays does a great job with his live watch parties as well. He was doing some last night. I didn't actually get in to watch any of them. But I did notice that he was doing a couple shows last night. I think I retweeted him, but he, it's always fun. I remember last year when he was doing one with Tennessee, and I was looking at it. He had like 100 in there, and I came back later on. There were like over 400 and some people in there, and it just kind of taken off. So, like I said, a lot of fun. Does a great job. So shout out to the Coach Plays. if you remember last year when we did that huge Titans kickoff playoff party, Coach Plays brought it, man. He was there. He had the cool light. So shout out to him. Hunter says, sabotage the Colts. Steven, an Eagles fan here. Still got love for Wentz. That's a good. I would ask you, one of the coolest movies, I think it's called, what is the movie called? Invincible, with Papali. Love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I would go watch that thing tonight, but Cobra Kai is out, right? So I got to go check that out. And the new series is out or whatever. I think it just got posted a couple days ago, so hopefully that's pretty good. I know it ended really, really well, and, Karate Kid was always fun when I was younger. So, but anyways, long story short, kind of lost track of what I was even talking about right there, bringing up Cobra Kai. But, Invincible, really good show, good movie. But with the Eagles, I would ask you, who's the quarterback that you really want to see next year? Are you buying into what you got going on now? Did you feel like Wentz just didn't have a good situation and maybe he can have a good offseason and come back? Or, you go with Jalen. It's just kind of, it's an interesting thing, interesting comment. But I hope you don't give up on Wentz too early and he ends up in the Colts. Yeah, you're right. The Titans need to get it done, and if they blow it tomorrow, I think we're all going to be a little upset. Now, if Miami loses, I'm sure we'll be upset, even though we're in the playoffs. But going from a 4 seed to a 7 seed just doesn't seem, I guess it's typical Titans, right? But at least we're not 9-7. Jacob says, I agree. I think Wentz is a good quarterback, but sounds like a bad leader. Sydney says Cook's pretty good. Cooks is really, really good. He's put up a lot. I think I wrote him down. Cook's 984 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 70 receptions. A lot of receptions for him. Jackson says, why does Mariota pop off when he's not on the Titans? I'm not sure he pops off. What do you mean, like pop off? Like does well? He did really well the other day when he got a chance to play, but last week he didn't get a chance to play, and the Dolphins ended up, oh, what a terrible game that was. James in the house, I was frustrated at the beginning of the game. We had Rusty Jackson covering Adams, but then he played good against Butler. You are right about that. And then the snow, I think what took the cake and kind of made me frustrated, and that you knew it was going to be a long day, was when Adams was getting double covered in the end zone by, I want to say, Byard, or maybe it was Vaccaro and Butler. And Adams took a jab step, and then he started to go towards the out of bounds, like over there, that part of the end zone. And the two Titans guys just kept going towards the middle of the field, and Adams was literally wide open. But that happens not because Butler or Byard or Vaccaro are bad, but it happens because Aaron Rodgers has all freaking day to throw the ball. If you're going to let Rodgers sit back there for 7-8 seconds, the one time when they showed you at the end of the half, literally like 11 seconds went by, and Rodgers was not touched. He ran on one side of the field. He ran all the way across the other side of the field and picked up like 8 yards, but was not touched in like 11 or 12 seconds. That is the problem. And the Titans don't have anybody out there. Yes, you can blitz more and stuff like that, but for whatever reason, you're not seeing it happen. And even if it does, they pick it up. Next year, does Evans move to outside linebacker? That's a good question to ask. I don't have the answer right now. Can't do it right now because Evans and Long are pretty much all you got. Unless you're going Compton and Long, and then you're going to put Rashawn Evans out there for a pass rusher. We love Compton, but I don't know if we want to see him overused at this point either. How are you going to watch football next year with DirecTV contract expiring? It's a good one. I'm actually excited about it. I'm tired of being thrown into this monopoly business where you can only go with one provider, and it's frustrating. And I know it's not fair to any of you guys. And I think, honestly, that's why the watch-along parties do so well, is because so many of you can't actually watch the game. Like, you don't have DirecTV. You can't go out and either get it or you don't want it or you got something else. And it's not right. I think in this day and age with technology, living in the United States of America, we should be able to watch the team that we love. We shouldn't be forced to watch, in my case, the Bears all the time. In Chicago's market, they literally will block out the CBS game of the AFC that's competing against the Bears. So only the Bears game on both CBS and Fox will be on. It's ridiculous how they can get away with that. And it's just not fair. So hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully they can make it available across all platforms. But yeah, next year will be the last year. So for those of you in my situation or in yours, we'll have to hang on to DirecTV for at least one more season. Let's see. We got an hour and 31. We have 258 of you in the house. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes. And we do have the giveaway to talk about. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Got any questions, comments, definitely put them on the screen. We kind of left off what our expectations were, how far this team can go. I'm saying I think we can. It's hard for me to look you guys in the eye and say, like, this team's going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, can it happen? Yeah, it can happen. NFL gave us a 5.7% chance. They gave the Rams a better chance than us. They gave the Ravens a better chance than us. Both of those teams aren't going to win their division. Titans at least have a chance to win the division. But there are some things that I'm concerned with. You know, like, we have a really tough time on defense. Some argued on Weekly's show that were in the comments, like, the Chiefs caught fire on defense. Why can't we? Well, the Chiefs caught fire. They didn't wait till the first round of the playoffs to catch fire. They, like, actually started to, after the game against Derrick Henry in week 11 or week 10 or week 9, whenever that was, when we played them. That's when the Chiefs' rush defense started to improve drastically. And I don't know what they did, but it definitely worked. Maybe it was because they brought the Honey Badger more down in the box. Who knows? Has the pass defense got any better? No. Have we got more sacks? Well, I guess we got one last week. Got to start somewhere. But when you compare the Titans and the Chiefs from last year, the Titans offense can compete. It's the defense that's the concern. Sports and Stuff makes a great point. Concerned with the pass rush. Very concerned with that. Christopher says, I just subbed to your channel. You're from Edmond, Oklahoma, big Titans fan. Hey, man, thanks for subbing to the channel. I appreciate it, Christopher Hall. Are you an Oklahoma fan? I think you guys won, did you not? Or did you guys lose? Yeah, I think you guys beat Florida. I'm not sure if you're a big college football fan or not, but, you know, the one thing I will say about Oklahoma was when we drove through it, because we have family in Texas, actually they're like, believe it or not, they're like 20 minutes from, like, Mr. Titan's house. It's actually a true story. But driving down to Texas, went through Oklahoma, I didn't realize how many lakes Oklahoma has. And they have that pike where you can go almost like 80 miles an hour. Like, that's what the speed limit is. So, like I said, I haven't officially stayed in Oklahoma, but it seems very beautiful out there for sure. So, tighten up to you. Pyro in the house. Yeah, a lot of Cowboy fans in Memphis. There are Cowboy fans everywhere. One of my buddies, Chris, huge Cowboy fan, lives in Illinois. There are a lot of Cowboy fans. Sydney says, pro tip, I don't want to get in trouble, but okay. I'm not going to put that up there, but thanks, Sydney, for helping out the channel. Chuck says, Evans has to play with more discipline. You're right, Chuck. Good closing argument there. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I thought he's regressed a little bit this year, and it pains me to say that because I thought he was awesome last year. I thought he was doing really good. I thought he was going to take the step, and he just didn't do it. Coach plays it's very lacking with the pass rush. Very frustrating. Kansas City. Ricky says, Kansas City Chiefs in your face. Hey, Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to be really relevant for the next couple weeks, but they deserve it. But they'll be back second round of the playoffs because they're not playing their starters tomorrow. So it's going to be kind of boring in Kansas City for the next couple weeks, but everybody will probably get rested up, ready to go. Eric in the house, I hope they plan on blitzing Evan Vaccaro more in the playoffs, but don't want to show it yet. Maybe you could argue that too, and then maybe the Titans are holding on to something till we get there. I'm an Alabama, Oklahoma Sooners fan. Okay, awesome. Jesse in the house, this defense won't step up. Let's see. The defense won't set up the offense for success in the playoffs. Cleveland is finally competitive and will win the AFC team's problem in the future. Cleveland is very competitive. They can figure out. They kind of figured out the quarterback situation. They definitely the coach. Let's be honest. Cleveland made a big improvement because is it Stefanski? He's a pretty good coach. I thought he outcoached Vrabel when we played him. Mario in the house. He says, "How about Kerry Coombs yesterday?" he did a really good job, and I know a lot of you are saying that maybe he'll be the new defensive coordinator. He's not leaving Ohio State. He's got his dream job, I think. But to see him celebrate and doing snow angels and all that on the field, that was cool. And we had that with him last year with the energy. He was amazing. Tomorrow's a big day. Can we celebrate a division title? Can we celebrate? Let's hope. So, giveaway time. Boom. So, giveaway. This hat could be coming to your house. It's going to come directly from the NFL shop. It's not coming from my house. All I'll do is once you win, I'll get a hold of you. You'll tell me what size it is, and then boom, I'll get your address, and then it'll be sent to your house, and I will not touch this thing at all. And you know what? I think you guys would probably be okay with that for the fact with everything going on, you don't want to touch in multiple hands. I can promise you it'll come brand new, come directly from the NFL shop, and it'll be on your way as early as next week. So how do you get this thing? Well, obviously you would subscribe. That would be part of it, right? Hopefully you tighten up the like button as well, although I couldn't really go and police that for any means. But how do you get this thing? Simply when the video is over, all you have to do is leave a comment. So when the video is completely over and it reposts on YouTube, all you do is leave a comment. I don't care what you do. You can say tighten up. It's going to go all in a random generator. So you get a heads up because you're finding out right now how you can just go and win this hat. And I've given away a hat before, and I've taken a lot of slack from it. And then we gave the jersey away, and to be completely honest with you, that was a lot of fun. But this one, I'm not going to put it on Twitter. I'm not putting it on Instagram. I'm not putting it on Facebook. For whatever reason, when we do a live show, once it posts, all the comments go to a review. I don't know why it happens. I got to check my settings. But I will, once you post it and you don't see your comment on there, I'm going to go in there and I will add it to where it needs to go. So you don't need to worry about it. And if you leave multiple comments and you don't see them there, don't worry. Trust me. All I got to do is hit confirm, and then they'll post up there, and then I'll let you know. And I'll do a random generator. Again, I don't care what you say. You can say tighten up. You can say tighten down if you want to, realistically. Not sure why you'd want a Titan hat, though, if you're not a Titans fan, but I don't know. You're going for $35. It's not that big of a deal, but it's something, right? It's something here, and hopefully if we continue moving on in the playoffs, we'll be able to give maybe, sometimes they have the playoff shirts or something like that, or who knows, division hats, division shirts, maybe we can give one of those away as well. So you guys were awesome. Don't forget to tighten up that like button on your way out of here. And we'll see you tomorrow for the watch-along party. You guys were great. Tighten up. Go Titans.
I'm Titan Upload, and you're watching Fan to Fan Network, the voice that fans deserve. Tighten up.